Guys, Deluded Goon on Mr. Sauce on Spill YouTube's and N'Golo Kante. It's been a long week. Yes, us Arsenal fans and football fans in particular cry when our team's not doing the right things and getting the right results. But I mean, these international breaks are annoying. We know they're not for genuine reasons. Yes, there's international qualifiers. Vast majority of the time, it's pointless friendlies. To be fair, it's been World Cup qualifiers, and we just had one, and we got another one, and we've got another one in March or something, or whatever. So yeah, man, it's been a slow week. But Q&A, questions there. Get your questions in for Sundays if you guys want me to do it. I said get your questions in for Sundays if you want me to do it. Yeah, let's dive straight in, man. Let's not waste any further time. First question. There's not that much today, but yeah, man. First question. Jimbo_Jumbo. I hope I said that right. Can you explain what David Dein brought to the club? He brought a lot. He cared about taking the club forward, as well as protecting his own pockets and increasing his own pockets. He was constantly a visionary, looking at not only Arsenal but what are other Premier League teams doing. What's the future of football, and how can Arsenal somewhat be ahead of the curve? He was somewhat the brains to Wenger's madness. Like when Wenger we needed to sign certain players or do certain things, he was the bridge. You're now seeing it's gone. All these calls, and for people that are calling for him to come back, me included, it's not going to happen. It's wishful thinking. The man's an old man now. He's enjoying his retirement and things like that. Yes, it is selfish, and you'd want us to achieve, but you can't expect him to do that. He brought a lot, man. Forward thinking. He brought stars to this club as well. Well, maybe not stars in particular. I know Bruce Rioch gets the praise for bringing in Dennis Bergkamp, but go and do your history. Even ask Ian Wright. There's one man is the reason why Dennis Bergkamp's there. Yeah, man. Ian Wright, I mean, David Dein, what he's done for this club, from finances to getting personnel renewed, brought in the great Wenger. So yeah, man, there's too much for me to say about what he's done. If you support Arsenal, just do your research, go and see what he brought to the club and why people call for him back. Hope that answers your question. Mike Torby, Joe Willock or Maitland-Niles, which player would you have in your AFC team in 5 years? That's a tough one. I've got a lot of bias to Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles is older, so he's slightly ahead of his development. They've been waiting on Joe Willock physically, and you can see he's come in the last 18 months. He's come a long way physically. It's important to remember this guy just about made his debut towards the end of the last season for the under-23s. So he's come up and getting on Wenger's plans, pushing on his door, getting started in the Europa League and things like that. Technically won Community Shield. He made great strides. He still has a long way to come physically. For someone that's not big or that muscly, he throws himself into challenges and he actually holds his own and recovers the ball well and things. But there are also times he's muscled out and things like that. So we're still waiting for him to develop physically. He looks a good player. Just how far he wants to go depends on himself, to be honest. Like I always tell you guys in my vids, the talent is one thing. It's all about just getting the talent in and giving them the best facilities to grow. I mean, if you have a plant, there's no guarantee that the plant's going to be 6 foot tall, bring you hella fruits and all of them things. But what you do with that plant, you give it the best amount of sunshine, the best amount of nutrients and all of them things. You make sure you care for it as much as you can. And if it all does that and it takes all the nutrients, it's either going to become a great tree or it's going to become nonsense. Nothing's a guarantee. But yeah, man, I'd probably say Maitland-Niles at this point in time because again I have a lot of bias to it in his favour. But you never know. A lot of these players do surprise us. I mean, a lot of people didn't think people thought Iwobi'd have a career, but not at Arsenal. And now look, these things go over way. Just how far either player wants to go. It's not a certainty either player makes it here. It's not a certainty that either player does make it here. It's completely up to them. Yes, certain things happen that are out of their controls, but yeah, it's up to them. Hope that answers your question. Double D Marius. FC Barcelona and AS Espanyol to possibly come out of Europa League. What's your opinion? I don't think they can come out. It's a bit like the Genoa fans were saying that. It's just a threat. We always hear this. I mean, Barcelona, where would they go? Like the Spanish league, along with, Atletico came up recently, but Real Madrid and Barcelona, that's the bread and butter of the Spanish league. They're the reason Messi's there. It's the reason people watch it more time. Of course, there's Ronaldo and things like that. But if they lose Messi, Messi needs Ronaldo, and Ronaldo needs Messi in that sense. They bring the blockbuster, the league, and things like that. That's the only thing the Spanish league can claim to have over people. It's an empty threat. Espanyol, no disrespect to them, but where would they go? I mean, yeah, man, they're just joining in the nonsense. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think his dead is a non-starter, to be honest. So yeah, next question. Oh, you've got another one. Should Scottish teams be allowed in the Prem and EFL? There's a case for it. I mean, you look at it's basically just Celtic badding up the league now because Rangers are falling off a bit. You could say that. And people have said Celtic. The manager's talked up Celtic side. He said they'll be a top 4 side in the Premier League. Personally, I don't believe that. I believe even saying a top 10 for them is a big ask. Not because they haven't got quality, it's because I just don't think they can do it. I think they got Tierney, who can be playing a lot at a higher standard. The very fact that they can get Frank Sinclair, not Frank Sinclair, Scott Sinclair. He was somewhat a nobody in the Premier League, and very much a journeyman and couldn't inconsistent form, apart from a little purple patch that led to the City move. I believe he played for Swansea. He's now a key player for them and starring week in, week out. Guys like Lee Griffiths, Gary Hooper, Anthony Stokes. A lot of, no disrespect to none of these guys, a lot of these players that are not really of Premier League standard can go over to Celtic and become decent players. Again, that's no disrespect to them, man. Yeah, shout out to Hendrik Larsson, because he was a 30 player, and he's the only player no one can really critique it that played for Celtic, in my opinion. Of course, there's more, but whenever someone says Celtic, Larsson, the big man's in my head. So yeah, man, I don't think they would hold their own. There's no people say they will come here and things like that. I mean, from their point of view, it would be great for them to join us. I mean, they're in the Premier League, they'll be riches. Who knows? They can be more competitive. It will be like I just answered your question with the Barcelona and the Espanyol thing. The Spanish league can't afford to Scottish league, sorry, can't afford to let Celtic go, because Rangers has fallen off before what they had, so they've lost a real yes, it's still the old firm derby, but it's not what it used to be. So now if they lose Celtic, they have a sub-poor Rangers and all of these other teams, Hearts, etc., that are doing all right and on a come up, but they're not at that level. And Scottish league isn't watched that much as it is. I mean, obviously the locals and football fans here and there watch it, but in comparison to the Spanish and the English league and even Italian league, it's not viewed that much. And it's a shame, because they've got a lot of passionate fans, especially the fans at Celtic Park, man. It's always buzzing. Champions League when they're in it. I don't think Celtic will get Champions League spots if they played in England, to be honest with you. You could argue it'd be better because they get more money from the Premier League. But would they would they be as prestigious as they are? I don't know how. I'm not a transfer person or finances person. I don't know how the money works. But you could claim they'd lose Champions League money as well. It's a good question, but I just don't. From a footballing point, I don't think they'd hold their own in the Premier League. They'll do okay, but there's a couple substandard sides in the Premier League that I can look at their players and say they'll actually give Celtic a run for their money if they're playing these teams week in, week out. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Next question, Reese_Nelson61. Thoughts on Watford's strong start to the season? Well, our opponent's next game, they started off very well, man. I mean, they got a point off City. Yes, they got battered against Manchester City. They got a point off Liverpool. Couple games that they should have lost that they should have lost, and they got away with it. Got a point at Liverpool. That's basically a win. Fight back against West Brom. Beat Bournemouth. Beat Swansea, I believe. Beat Southampton. I thought Southampton would have beat them. So they've had a fantastic run to the start to the season, and it's early days, and they've got to continue that. Marcus Silva and Richarlison and all these new personnel have really got the club banging. And yeah, it's a kick in the teeth for guys like Merson, who was saying initially when the manager even came to England, saying who is he and things like that. So yeah, man. We just got to take out a leaf out of City's book and just batter them, hopefully. I know it's Arsenal, it's a 5:30 kickoff when we play, so everything's up for debate. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Now, Makalele, if you could decide which manager should replace Wenger, who? Now, I've answered this question a lot of times. I've said a lot of managers, so I'm going to take a different approach to answering this. I'd say Pep Guardiola, purely because the minute Pep Guardiola left Manchester, left Bayern Munich, we should have been on that case. He should have been here. Even when he left Barcelona, we should have put some plans into place. I know all you Arsenal fans used to get excited at the prospect when we used to see him at the Emirates talking up the club. It's a shame he's not there. Obviously, Wenger loves his little cozy life here at the moment. But yeah, if I had my choice, the minute this guy said he's leaving Barcelona, I said, take your time out. The minute you want to come back, it's an Arsenal one. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the Q&A. Thank you for the questions. Get in the comments, because I really want to give you guys it on Sunday. It's a slow week. Let me give you guys this work, man. Why won't you let me? But get in the comments, subscribe, like the video. Thank you very much for watching. Honestly, it means a lot. Delulu Guna, I'm out.